Ryan? Okay.
Welcome, everybody. It's December the 19th. We have a special call meeting. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, that the city of Smithfield will conduct a special called meeting on December 19th, 2025 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers of City Hall, 317 Main Street, Smithfield, Texas. Call this meeting to order. First item is discussion and action on authorizing expenditures from tax note per ordinance 2025697. Anybody signed up to speak?
Cynthia.
Do you have a mic? Oh. Lay it on us.
Okay, I have, actually, I have a couple of Union Pacific Railroad invoices. These are engineering fees related to the Safe Routes to School grant. This is the portion, though, that is not reimbursable through the grant. We've been paying some of these through the 23 tax note, so I just need to get approval to continue to pay those from the 23 tax note. I think the total is like, overall, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be like $35,000, but right now I only have $935 that they're billing me for. So I just need to get approval so I can get them paid. And that's all I have. And I don't know if can y'all give me approval that if I get any more of these in that I could continue to pay, because Union Pacific does kind of have a deadline of when I'm supposed to be paying. And I don't really know when they're going to send them, just because it's related to the grant. If y'all are okay with that, for me to continue to pay from there.
I'm not opposed.
Okay, Jimmy, give us a motion.
Those are Union Pacific invoices
Yeah, they're Union Pacific,
for the safe walkways.
the Safe Routes to School grant.
I make a motion that we approve the current invoices from Union Pacific for the Safe Walkways grant and any future ones for the Safe Walkway grant that come in.
I second that motion.
Made and seconded. All in favor? Never mind. Here we go. Councilman Dunham.
Yes.
Councilman Meek.
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes, ma'am.
It is approved. Cynthia, you good? Any other? Anybody else? Okay, the next item on the agenda. Discussion and action on the Enclave at Riverbend Development Agreement.
So having met with the developer for the Enclave, as well as spoken with our council, we drafted an agreement based upon our conversations regarding the 8 exceptions that were being discussed. And I've provided each of you kind of a breakdown of why I believe that those would be beneficial for us to kind of go ahead and move forward. Both bond counsel as well as the attorney for the developer have both approved different versions. We submitted, we made red marks, we sent it to them. They made their changes and sent it back, and we agreed. And our bond counsel does feel that it represents the council's wishes at this time. So the contract is available for your approval.
I had sent a question to Jeremy last night. There was a news article that came out in Community Impact about a PID in the city of Bastrop that seems to be strong arming the city of Bastrop and potentially putting the city in a position where they're going to have to cover the remaining elements of the remaining balance of the PID, which is roughly 3.5 million. So that the homeowners are potentially looking to hold a vote to dissolve the PID. My personal research, again, not an attorney by any means, and why I would hope to have information from Mr. Henry, is that the way that the PID agreement that we're working on is done is it's written in a way that can't happen. And I just would feel a lot more comfortable knowing that from our attorney, or through you from our attorney, before I move forward on a vote. And I don't know if we need to wait for him to show up today, but I just don't want to have the city in a position where we're in that position.
I'd like to address the PID for, it's Hunter's Crossing. That PID has been a nightmare for the city of Bastrop for over 14 years. It has been through several different layers of a bankruptcy from the developer and all sorts of other stuff. I don't know exactly all of it, but this is from what I understood from several of the council members, this is a way for it to go away for the city of what they're doing. If that PID was written in language that, I mean, it doesn't even exist anymore.
And from what I understand, it was actually the first PID in the state of Texas as well, too.
Yes.
And so it's
Yes.
a
Yeah.
unique case. And so I just want to make sure that we're crossing our Ts and dotting. our Is
Yeah,
on this.
understood.
Would you prefer we postpone this till later in the evening when the council gets here?
I mean, he's supposed to be coming, right?
Well, we can push it down though.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Jennifer.
Andrew, can you hear us?
This was terrible.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yes, we can.
Jennifer, you got to speak into your mic.
Yes, we can hear you, Andrew.
Okay. And you've got Andrew Friedman here with Samco. I caught the first bit of your conversation, but not all of it.
My question came about our neighboring city, Bastrop. There's a PID, which apparently was the first in the state, has become a bit of a nightmare for them. And they're in a position right now where the homeowners of that PID are looking to be holding a vote to potentially dissolve the PID, leaving the city on a hook for $3.5 million. My understanding is a lot of lessons have been learned since then, but I just want to make sure that as a city, we're not going to be in a position where the homeowners could unilaterally hold a vote without the city's say, and then the rest of the.
They cannot. As it
Okay.
relates to any future assessments that are levied on this PID, there's not a circumstance where that could come back and fall back to the city's responsibility in repayment of the assessments or any bonds that are issued at a later date. And I'm not familiar with the circumstances of the Bastrop PID, but I'm not aware of a single instance where a PID has become a responsibility of a city.
Okay. Yeah, as long as the language is written to where it's not possible, then I'm good with it.
As far as the community benefit fee, because the request for waiver is removed, I assume that it is now in place, but do we still have that amount at approximately 200,000?
I think that it's codified within the development agreement at a per lot price. And I'm quoting offhand, but I think it's $3,400 per lot is how it's been memorialized. And it's reflective of the PID policy itself.
My math shows that's 387,600.
Yeah, the math comes out somewhere between 2 and 225,000. I forget the exact fee, but from my recollection, it is in the PID policy, as he is saying, and they were just asking to waive it, which we've declined.
Essentially, they would write us a check for that full amount.
I'm looking out at Todd now, so it's 387.
Could you come up here, Todd?
I'm sorry, Todd. Sorry, Mayor. To address the audience.
It
Yeah,
wasn't 387. It was
I would have to look at the PID policy again, but all of our math came out to around the 220 mark. So I don't know
220.
why that's coming up differently.
Andrew, can you hear this?
I can. I don't have
So the
the
34,
develop. It's memorialized within the development agreement. That it simply reflects what's required by the PID policy, which I believe is $3,400 per lot.
I just don't want this to be a shock to Todd.
Sure.
Yes, it
But
is.
you looked at our PID policy,
I-
you know what that.
I did.
So
I did. That's correct. Yes.
If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I just, okay.
I think the 3,400 is being overstated. I think that,
I think you're right, but
I want to say it's
nevertheless, I made the commitment.
Yeah.
So I made the commitment. That's what I did. Okay,
Thank you.
you bet.
Thank you, Todd. All right. Somebody want to give me a motion?
Mayor, I move approval on the Enclave at Riverbend Development Agreement as submitted.
I'll second.
Motion been made and second. Roll call, Councilman Dunham,
yes.
Meek,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes, ma'am.
It is approved. Thank you. Discussion and action on submission requirements for a request for proposal for the solid waste contract going out at the end of December 2025.
Mayor, if I may, I have a conflict of interest on this and all future, so I've been advised by our legal counsel that I'll actually have to leave the chambers while y'all are discussing this.
Like you're gonna leave the
I had
building?
to leave.
He's leaving the
Thank you.
building. Councilman Dunham is leaving the building to not be part of the discussion. Thank you.
Are you coming back?
Tracy, you will have to go retrieve him.
Is that noise thing about? There's
So
Go ahead.
essentially, with the RFP for the municipal solid waste collection, disposal, and recycling services, we took into account all of the input that was received from both the survey that Jill produced and submitted, and the community responded pretty well to that survey, indicating what their desires were. We also had multiple examples of RFPs from other communities, and we've confirmed that our RFP matches both what we are hoping to accomplish, both internally and with the council. So it is simply a RFP for you to consider, and if you did, we would put that out and we would have it back in time for before the expiration of the current contract.
I have several additions to the RFP that I would like to have added. One of them is that the trucks be no more than 4 years old, and there are spill kits on every truck. So we don't have any oil or anything else off of them or debris that happens, and that way the trucks are relatively new enough, so breakdowns will be in a limited way. I do like how you did this step recycling. I also want to talk about, with the commercial for the recycling, I've talked to several of the business owners and everything else. They are bringing a lot of cardboard and stuff to the recycling center. So I don't know if they're going to provide, because we don't really have it here, whether they're going to provide dumpsters that are for recycling. I think that's going to, the businesses will not recycle if they have to pay for a dumpster. So I want to make sure that they can still pay for the permit and use the recycling center for their cardboard and things like that. Also, you've got the bulk. I would like to see options for the recycling to be once a week is fine, bi-weekly is fine, but I would also like a 3-week option, just in case. I think most of this, I may have to come back in a minute, but I think that's most of what I'm looking at.
for clarification, when you say a 3-week, do you mean 3 times per week or every third week? Okay.
It'd be like once a month because there are some cities that do that. The most common is every other week, but there are some cities around that do once a month because they just don't pick it up. Did you sign up to speak at all or? Okay, yeah, well, that's, if you're in here, I figured you'd want to speak. I know that you have lots of options about zero waste management, so if you want to talk to anybody about that, you can. Please, or you can fill it out after. Yes, please.
And before she speaks, if I can, I'd be remiss to not mention that Jennifer did a lot of this work. So most of this RFP compilation is her work.
Like to clarification on the recycling dump. You wanted a large dumpster at the recycling center for commercial use?
No, ma'am. I want them to pay, I want what they do at the recycling center for the businesses to be able to use the cards that we have up front, like we keep the thing open for the outside of town, out of towners. I want it to be able that the people like Milton's or someone like that, they could get a card and they could go and we will take their cardboard and their recycling.
So not in the RFP?
Not in the RFP. I just want that to the side. I want to make sure that's happening. Sorry about that. I meant to get that not in the RFP.
If I may ask one more point of clarification, it's the question I get asked most, so I want to make sure that we and the people out there listening or who will be watching in the future understand the frequency of what we call residential waste collection. What we're asking for in the RFP, and this is a question, is we want to see options for once a week and twice per week. If we were to go with the once per week, do we have an option built in where if someone wanted to rent additional cans? Because I don't see it in the bullet point.
It was in there, but I will double check to make sure that we have both options for once a week and twice a week pickup and extra bins. 96 gallon.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it written right now, maybe it's intended there, but I don't see it in that first bullet point, first page, first bullet point under residential waste collection.
With option for additional carts.
Yeah,
What you're wanting? Okay.
yeah, because we want to make sure that we have both of those options bid on. That's for me, the feedback I've gotten from the community. This is the number one issue. Are we going to stay at once per week, or will we at twice per week, or would we possibly going to once per week? And if they needed more, they would be renting an additional can.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening. I'm Stacy Savage, AKA the Texas Trash Talker, and I'm founder and CEO of Zero Waste Strategies. I am a Bastrop County resident voter taxpayer, but I do not live in the city of Smithville, so just want to make that clear. Any remarks that I make is, just on behalf of my 22 years experience in the waste and recycling industry. So, Councilmember Jenkins, one thing that you had just mentioned about the commercial recycling options, in order to get more businesses signed up and to be diverting their recyclable materials, cardboard, paper, plastics, metals. One thing that a lot of businesses don't take into account is that they need to look at their trash hauling contract to see if they're diverting 50-60% of their materials to the recycling center, then they should be able to come down quite a bit on their monthly fees, their hauler fees for trash.
They do. That's one of the things that I've talked to, that they don't have to have as big a dumpster because of the fact that they're sending the other stuff and it's being diverted away from the landfills. I want to keep that option available for them.
Right. So it's 3 parts though, where they could potentially save money, that should be represented to them. It's the size of their dumpsters. If they want to go from 10 cubic yards to like, say, 8 or 4, they can do that. They'd have, of course, have to talk with their hauler. It would be the frequency of pickup as well. So maybe not 4 days a week. We're going to go down to 2 days a week. And what was the third? Just slipped my mind. Anyway, there's several options that businesses can look at that they can work with their hauler, and maybe it's a combination of the 2 or 3 that I mentioned. So
I'm good. Do you have any other additional input that you would like to give?
I think just overall, the vast majority of Texas cities are doing the once per week trash pickup, twice per month recycling pickup. And it seems to work for most cities, even a city the size of Smithville. So I understand the additional option, getting that in the RFP and seeing what haulers can provide as far as pricing and doing every 3 weeks. But that option may hinder some of the smaller, more local haulers from submitting because they just can't keep up with that type of schedule. It needs to be more dense communities and on a pretty set schedule. So the once a week and once a month trash recycling respectively pickup is what most haulers are used to.
Well, my idea in the RFP would be that if they can give us a price for each one of them, that's what I would like. If they can only give a price for 2, that doesn't exclude them from filling out the RFP to fill out that much of it. So we still have them in there. That may make their scoring a little less, but that would be it. I just want to make sure that our citizens have the options that they have asked for. And when you say everybody's once a week trash, guess what? The survey says that the city wants twice a week. It's by a very small margin, but they have said, we want the twice a week pickup.
Yeah.
So we have to listen to our constituents.
Of course.
Yeah, and decide what's best. A price is going to be, I think, the driving force behind all of it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And we definitely want to respect that. I think, the haulers that I've spoken with are adamant that they can bring the costs down whenever they go to the once a week instead of twice a week trash pickup. I know that some folks have talked to other haulers and they're saying there won't be much of a price difference, but, there's differing opinions on that based on the way that they operate internally and the services that they can provide externally to your residents and businesses. So there's a mixed bag going along, but also I think there may be missed opportunities so far with education on educating people on why diverting waste away from the landfill can be a cost saver in the end for taxpayers in the long run. So I think folks are just looking at convenience and they're willing to pay the price for it monthly rather than let's look at job growth, job creation, economic vitality, and building more, keeping materials local here in the area to look at reuse and remanufacturing opportunities as well. So there's a lot I think that's being missed in the education piece of why people are choosing to go for the more convenient option and they're paying the really high price for it.
Well, I think one of the things we could include in this RFP is if the ones that are filling it out, if at the bottom, we haven't added, if you have additional options that you can provide at no other cost or at what cost you can provide them, I think that's just added info that we could add in or subtract.
I just want to make sure the city's getting apples to apples comparison. Some companies will be able to do that every 3 weeks, kind of pick up. Some won't be able to. So
Well, I don't think that we will be choosing a 3-week, but it's an option that was asked for. Okay, I don't think 3 weeks of holding a can and they're putting everything from glass to cardboard to everything else. they're going to have to get 2 carts if that's what they're doing.
Mhm.
So I don't believe they'll choose that option. And as I say, you can fill out your RFP, and if you can't do the 3, then you can include, because if your price at the second week is less than somebody else's, that's where we're looking at picking, that's what we'll be doing.
Any other questions?
Jimmy, I wanted to, just, and this may not even be appropriate, but it seems like, if some of the folks that are responding to our RFP can't do the 3-week, is that an option in there? Because if they can't do the 3-week, we don't want to eliminate them from responding.
No, that's what I was saying, that if they can't, well, they can leave that 3-week blank and they can
Okay.
still fill out the rest of the
Like an
RFP.
option, you said. Okay, I
An
just wanted
option
to
in that.
clarify that.
That will
what
be,
you meant.
that will be an option for the
It's not a
company.
knockout question. It's just if you could.
So we would just list it as an alternative.
Yeah.
And like I say, if they can bring other things to the table that they would like to fill out at the bottom, the extras like the education piece that you're talking about, all these things that we could give what else can you do for the city of Smithville provided within this RFP that would not cost the city anymore?
Yeah, the education piece is going to be the entire crux.
Yeah.
Of whether the program wins or fails, and people participating, not only participating, but participating in the right way. Recycling right is what we call it in the industry, and making sure people understand that no plastic bags do not belong in your curbside recycling cart. You know,
Well,
garden hoses are rubber. It's not plastic. You can't recycle that.
one of the things about doing it every 3 weeks during the heat of the summer in Texas, the plastic bottles, if they have any liquid in it, they're completely ruined. So that kind of runs that out the window. That's why I don't think we'll do it, but it's still something in the survey that we have to go for.
Yeah. And that's the thing, at the last town hall meeting on the 4th, we had talked about a 3-week or a 4-week pickup. And I had mentioned that recyclables have to be absolutely pristine if you're going to do a 3 or 4 week, because of the rotting materials. If there's any food waste, you're going to get the flies and the nasties and all of that. And the material is going to be pretty compromised.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. They're going to be right next to the trash cans, so they may be compromised anyway.
That's a great segue, Jimmy.
Thank you.
And Stacy, you may want to comment on this too, based on your experience, but I'm putting this forth to council and question for city secretary and city manager on item 3, city services, number 7.
Oh, down a little. Oh, there you go. Community support.
Community support. I think that's very interesting, as in provide evidence of financial or in-kind support for local community and nonprofit organizations. That's broadly worded, but as I have had interaction with potential bidders on this, ideas have been floated is like, what would y'all like? Do you need a new park? Do you need other things? And so this likens back to Mr. McCullough's community benefit fee in the PID. If we got more specific in item 7 in terms of what that might be, and maybe we changed the term there or added the term community benefit, and basically special projects or contributions that you might want to make. Am I making sense? No? Okay.
Writing everything,
I think
writing everything you're saying, she understands.
I think mainly what this applies to is like helping with Jamboree, when they have everything, providing extra stuff out there at no extra cost to the nonprofit that's going to be happening when they're having a local event like that.
Right. So you would have trash and recycling.
All set up out there for that, and that would be at no cost to the city or to the event.
Because they're collecting those recyclables, they're eventually going to be able to sell. So that they definitely want those materials from the events, of course.
I'm just looking above and beyond because I was, and I think the mayor also may have been approached by one or more of the potential bidders as to, is there something special the city would like, such as a splash pad or a park or something like that? And absolutely, we would love to entertain any offers of community benefit that these people would like to contribute.
I don't want, and I'm all for that, but I want to make sure that we're being fair to all the companies that are bidding, because bigger companies are going to be able to do that. And if we have the midsize that has a better price, but these guys are doing something, I don't want to be askew of what we're doing.
It would be something that we would consider. It would come into the equation. Now, I don't know that if y'all agree with,
Yeah, I don't think that, I
I
think.
don't think that's something you can write into the to the
Yeah,
RFP.
you can't write a specific to it for sure. We can say any,
saying offers of community benefit.
yeah, any offers of community benefit.
I wasn't asking for anything specific.
Okay.
It's just, I was approached with things of specificity.
I'm sure there's lots of people that
And support.
want,
So maybe we say, or offers of community benefit,
Yeah.
if that's okay with the rest of you.
that will work with me.
You could also put a heavy emphasis on the community outreach and education. It's the empowerment behind people recycling confidently. The reason that they don't recycle correctly a lot of times is because they don't know what goes where. So they'll just, in frustration or embarrassment, they'll just put everything in the trash. So if there's signage, we've got proper color coding, blue is the recycling, whatever color scheme you're going with.
Oh, I understand and appreciate the need for education. I'm just trying to incorporate the opportunity for them to offer.
I would ask
benefit to the community.
I'd ask the bidders to really beef up their education plan is what I'm getting at.
Okay. I'm
Oh, I thought we
good.
already had education in there. No, we didn't. Yeah, add the verbiage for education. Yeah, thank you, Stacy.
And this could even be like workshops or trainings. We did a couple of workshops for City of Smithville in 2024.
23. We did it, and I think,
March, April.
yeah, 23, I believe is what we did.
Well, perhaps,
That was a
in-
Cap
yeah,
Cod
I mean,
grant.
if they were wanting to contribute a park to the benefit of the community, a part of that park would be, this is how you recycle, and give examples of certain types of materials go here. And then you can combine both the community benefit and the education fee.
Absolutely. Yeah. But ultimately you want folks to do it right and to feel confident whenever they're
If
doing
they
it.
don't do it right, we shouldn't be doing it, but we have to educate.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
I think we're wearing Jennifer out over there.
I'm just gonna, but as a motion for where we're headed, okay.
give a motion.
All right,
Here we go. Go ahead, Jimmy.
all right, let me get down to it.
Number f-
Okay, I make a motion that, we submit the request for proposals for the solid waste management contract with the current requirements and all requirements that have been talked about and added at this meeting.
Jennifer, you good with that?
Would it be possible, Jennifer, for you to read back in general what we've given you? Because the people out there listening are going to say, what did they just do?
Yes.
Second, remember?
I'll second.
Second it now. Jennifer, please.
Okay, so I'm going to add that the trucks that they're going to be using be no more than 4 years old, with spill kits added to the trucks. And then we're going to add an option for every third week for recycling to the RFP. We're also going to add what else can be provided that wouldn't cost the city anything. What other community benefit? I'm going to add that. Okay.
And education.
And education, I do have that, on number 7, community support, to add, offers of community benefit and education to the RFP. And then once, and twice per week option for additional carts and pricing.
And anything added that they want to supply that they can do at no extra price, just a listing of perks that they will bring to the table.
Okay. Councilman Meek,
I agree. Yes.
Jenkins?
I'm sorry, Mayor, I see Stacy asking to make one more comment.
Oh, education on recycling.
That it includes residential and business.
Okay.
That's all.
You're fine. Do I need to start? Do I need to start over or you got that? Okay, so Meek.
Meek, yes.
Yes.
Jenkins, Washington.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Are you good, Jennifer?
Okay.
Come on up.
Mayor, could I interject real quick just to clarify the PID policy so that we're all, our minds set on it?
Sir.
The PID policy states that the developer must pay the city a fee, community benefit fee, based on either 10% of the net proceeds to be generated from the issuance of PID bonds, which is roughly 2.5, which would be $250,000. That number is going to be slightly in flux. Or B, if PID bonds are not issued, $3,400 per single family lot. There is a small outside chance that bonds don't get issued because the other option from issuing bonds is to just sell the cash flow to some third party. There are people out there that buy cash flows. Typically, it's not as good of a deal for the, to get the proceeds. But if that is the case, if I sell it to a third party, then, it's Christmas for you guys.
Then the 3,400
It
kicks
would be
in.
the 3,400.
Right there.
That's correct.
Very good.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Thank you.
Discussion and action. Oh, somebody go get Brandon.
Can you find Brandon?
Welcome to Texas.
Welcome to
He's put out an APB for Brandon.
We're done.
We're
We're done with it.
We voted it.
Yes, we've done it.
Wow, he just doesn't want to come back.
Wow.
He has a conflict of interest. Oh.
Y'all have voted.
Yes, we have voted.
Yeah, he had the most questions about the PID. All done, Brandon, so, or I guess that was your question.
We can't think he
We
didn't
are
want to
done
come
with-
back.
With that part of it.
Okay, so next item is discussion and action on the city of Smithfield's recycling permit.
No, let's.
We didn't go back there,
We
no.
need to go back to the River Bend development. Did we vote on that, on everything passed?
Yes,
Or did we want?
no, everything passed. No, everything
Okay.
passed. Everybody was answered on, Andrew answered it.
Thank you. I didn't know if we needed to talk to the lawyer. That was the last thing that I heard from. Brandon.
He has
We
mentioned
talked to
you,
the
I
other
think.
lawyer.
Okay, with the other lawyer. Okay.
What is in your soda? Discussion and action. Discussion and action on the city's recycling permit. Take it away, Jimmy.
Okay, when we talked about this at the last meeting, kind of moving forward from right now until we get the PID, we're not going to have a contract, a solid waste contract that will change. So the first 3 months for people that live in town that have a recycling permit, we're not going to ask them to re-up because we don't know how that was going to happen. So we're going to leave that at the because some of those people may do single stream and they may not sign up for the in-town. So until March, when we get a contract and everybody signs up and does everything, the in-town will not have to pay. As long as they have a card from last year, they can go and recycle. The out-of-towners will be paying starting now, and in January, there will be the $100 fee for each one of them to re-up. And if the trend keeps going like it's been going, people from outside the city, it has grown every year by probably about 10%. I believe we will have another 10% growth in people that recycle that live in the county. And that's about all of it.
Jimmy, can you clarify the status of the paper shredding with the school district? Is that fully underway?
No, we are still working to find these trailers, but we have had some conversations with LCRA and other grants, and we're going to go to Ken May to try to get the money for those trailers. We have been talking to the school district. The problem is getting 2 trailers either made or bought on, just standard. But we need those dump trailers so that they can put all the white paper in there. It can be hauled to the recycle center and dumped. I believe I'm hoping before summer we have an answer trailers and we are moved into that option.
So to clarify for all of us, what's the net effect of what you're saying on the average resident?
I don't, well, I don't know. Right now, the ones that have been recycling they're gonna continue to be able to recycle. The net effect on how much, the recycle center brings in, I won't, until I get a cost estimate of maybe March or April and see how many people have signed up, I can't tell you the net effect.
But so the people who have already signed up, their
They're gonna
membership
get,
expires when?
their membership expires 1st of January, but the out-of-towners will pay starting then. The in-town people they will not have to pay until March.
So we're,
If they decide to go with it, they may decide to go with single stream, and the in-town people may shrink back down.
so in effect, we're waiving the first 3 months.
Yes,
For
we're waiving the
in-town
first
people.
3 for in-town people.
And,
That-
and
that-
the
that's the
impact
one-
on the, I just don't want to have that have an impact on the budget in terms of what we'd projected for revenue.
No, I do not think it will. Okay, that 3 months, will be for people that have cards that are existing, clients, members that go to the recycle center. At the end, if they want to do recycling with the city and not sign up for single stream, that's why we're giving the options in the RFP. They can do that, and they can pay the fee in March. I think we're probably going to decide to prorate it to $40 instead of the 50, and they will sign up, and that's how we'll move forward with it.
Maybe something in the future we can consider is that they can buy it for a given month and then it expires 12 months later.
Yeah, well, what I did last year was in July, since if they wanted to buy a recycling permit, I cut it in half. Okay, so if they, instead of a $50 fee, they only had to pay 25, out of town paid 50. I made quite a bit of money, the recycling center did, by doing that. We had quite a few people come in that didn't want to pay the $100, the out of towners, but now then that they're committed, they'll pay the $100 and move forward with it.
I know it's sunset now in terms of like getting your car inspected. It was always worth 12 months later and
Yeah,
you had to renew 12 months later. It's something we can look at later, but
yeah,
just trying.
absolutely.
Okay, no action taken. Next item. Turn the page. Discussion and action on leaf and limb. Take it away.
All right. I do want to point out something really quickly. There was a mistake on the final slide where it says options and recommendations. So what you see on the screen is actually the updated numbers, and what's on your paperwork is not updated. So once we get to that screen or to that page, I'll point to those numbers instead. So I was asked to kind of look into the leaf and limb schedule, pick up and basically just give it a good overview and try to understand whether or not this is something that's working for us, something that we need to change, update, or amend. It seems that there is a pretty strong level of support for continuing the brush pickup and the leaf pickup in the community as voiced by the participation and all the input that we've received. So first page was simply leaf and limbs pickup schedule. It just showed the days that they pick up and the sections that they pick up, Monday through Friday. There is a 4-man crew that does this. So if you go to the second page, we can see currently that our $10 per billing period is the current fee. And next to the red arrow there where it says residential trash, for those residents who may or may not be aware, the $10 fee is part of that $48.50. I've been approached by council to possibly break that apart, which we would do most likely once we get a new trash service, because that may affect the bill. Therefore, we might as well fix it all at one time. So at that point, we would hope to be able to separate those if that is possible, and I think it is, but we're working towards that. There are roughly 1,698 accounts that pay this $10 fee. So the estimated annual revenue is about $203,000. The estimated cost, however, is close to $304,000. So we're running at a deficit or a loss of about $100,000, give or take. And you can kind of see the breakdown of where that estimated cost comes from, labor for those 4 individuals, plus benefits, the motor fuel for the vehicles, the maintenance for the vehicles, machinery maintenance, and also the insurance for those items. So if you go to the next page. Again, these are the cost factors. We have 4 employees that are currently working on this crew, 2 do limb truck, 2 do the leaf truck, 2 vehicles, and a chipper and a leaf machine. Next slide, please. So what I did also is I went through the C-Click Fix, and this is one of the neat reports that it kind of gives us. It actually breaks down limb pickup versus leaf pickup, and you can see for the month of November to December, those were the top 3 items that were requested through C-Click Fix. But I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a trend just for 1 month. So if you'll go to the next slide, you can see consistently that those things generally rank at the top, mostly limb pickup more than leaf, but obviously leaves are not a year-round thing. But the limbs consistently rank at the top. October, November, September, going back to July. Go to the end. Okay, so currently, with the $10 fee, again, we're running at a deficit of about $100,000. If we were to increase the $10 fee to $375, making it a total of $1,375, we would be still running at a loss, but it would only be about $23,000. $4 increase would make it about $18,000, and at $5 is when we essentially break even versus what we're losing currently to operate that program. So I did put the options here. If you're asking me for a recommendation, I generally believe that we should at least operate at not a loss. And, we're not trying to make money per se, hand over fist with this. It is simply a service that we offer to the residents, and that's up to you. But if you want to break even on the cost of the service, then it would require essentially a $5 increase per month on each residential billing statement.
Okay, if I'm just, I discussed a lot of this during the last budget.
Yes.
This was a discussion. It's baked into the budget right now at the $10 per month, even with the loss and everything else. So we have baked it through the budget through the end of this year, through the end of this the yearly budget, fiscal year. I'm hesitant to change it to more during this. Now, this is definitely something I think we need to discuss at budget. But since we have it baked in, it's already a part of what we're doing. I think you're going to see a lot of screaming and yelling if we change it and move it up.
Okay. Well, and I am not advocating per se. I'm simply presenting the information. Yeah.
I do understand that.
So operating it at a loss was baked into the budget intentionally? Or we did not know that the cost was causing us $100,000 loss?
Well, we didn't, to my way of thinking, we didn't understand the $100,000 loss. I also, Edward, if you could come up and speak to a minute, aren't these guys, they're used during storm service and everything else. So some of what they have with their budget and stuff is used not just for leaf and limb, it's also used for clearing the streets, other things that are not part of the standard leaf and limb for regular pickup.
Yes, sir. In their salaries, there's included, some overtime for storms and stuff and this and that. If they do, they do. If they don't, we don't use that. That could be some cost savings for us there, but it's all budgeted in. But yes, they don't just run their routes daily. If we do have big storms and they got to come through for the next week or two, we might get off the routes and we'll take care of whatever we got to do to get every limb, leaf, roads cleared or whatever so that everybody can access through the city.
So it's possible there were some one-time events that have exaggerated the loss?
In that cost that you had up there with the salary and benefits did not include overtime. When I did it, I just did the cost for the 4 employees. This is an estimate that we came up with today.
It possibly couldn't because I think when
I gave
Jeffrey,
Jeremy the number
Jeremy, sorry.
253, it's salary and benefits for those 4 employees. It did not include, I took out
so you took
overtime.
Overtime, okay.
So that
We
doesn't
may be
include
up
Yes,
in
the cost estimate, that cost estimate right there then is
that's
40 hours a week.
the 4 guys.
So we could likely be operating at a higher loss than
And this
this.
also doesn't include tub grinding either, which is something that I asked for
Yeah,
in the
tub
last.
grinding is totally,
A whole totally,
Right.
that's a whole
It's-
totally different.
Separate but related.
yeah, it's not included in this $10 fee. And just so you are aware, when we did the budget this year, we did not base it, we went to what we were going to call the on-demand.
That's correct.
So when we did the budget, the way the budget is wrote is based on an on-demand, not on a $10 fee and keeping things the way we were. We moved it to the on-demand because that was the assumption that we were going to move it to on-demand. But then we've kind of backed off of that after we've come into much talk that that might not be the best option for us and that it's going to cause a lot more issues than it might be worth to switch.
So we currently,
Just know that what's in the budget is the on-demand
Which
cost,
had a higher revenue than this.
which could potentially have a higher, I mean, I think they're going to roughly be the same.
So what's
Give
our-
and take. If we keep going the way we're doing, what we estimated for on-demand revenue is going to be roughly,
Yeah.
What's
same if
the
we left it at a.
time constraint for this item being on the agenda now? I thought we had basically delayed this the last time until February. We did?
I think I just wanted him to deliver information because we had asked him to go research it. But I
Okay.
think it's important that the information gets out so people understand.
Yeah, and
That
we're,
was the reason why we put it back on here today, that it could be brought back forth, that all the information that he is retrieving, that you understand where the money is, and he broke it down to be part of the budget.
yeah,
how the money.
we're certainly
to-
learning.
To let us
from
know
it.
whether you're going to stay at the $10
$10
fee or if
fee.
you want to move to the on-demand because
Yeah.
right now we're still doing the $10.
Can we get that analysis and look at it again in the January meeting? Because my fear is that we're projecting ourselves into maybe $150,000 op. And I don't know,
We're gonna have to decide, are we going to raise the fees? And he broke it down by that. Are we gonna go with on demand? Are we gonna leave it the same? That's the reason why I wanted the information to be presented, that you had time to digest it and for you to talk to people. And for the people I've spoken to, really do not have a problem paying $3 more or $5 more for the service because it does keep our town clean and they see what it offers. So, but I wanted everybody to have the information that you go and talk to.
And I think where I'm concerned is our next agenda item is talking about reclaiming $120,000 out of the budget. Jeremy wasn't here for our budget cycle. He doesn't know the nuance that you just spoke about that we're even conflicted on here on council. And so I think that for us to be making decisions like this, where, I mean, we don't know off the top of our head what that revenue number is of the proposed idea from the last budget. And now we're already having to get him to make $120,000 budget cut. And now what is this going to also
What does
do
this
to the
do? Yes.
budget?
But I thought it was important for it
Absolutely.
to be brought forward, that you understand where we are
Yeah.
as we go.
well, you've made me think that we quite possibly need to take some action in the January meeting.
And that can
And
happen.
this is a warning to the citizens. We might have to raise that rate
Well,
if we don't go to on-demand.
so the salary that you have quoted to us here is in.
That's the budget.
It's in the budget that we've already discussed. It's not gonna be,
You're correct.
Yes.
You're correct. That is not going to change.
that's not gonna change.
The salary numbers will not
And,
change.
and that is part of our budget. That's what you put in the budget and schedule. That's not
The
anything. that-
expenses won't.
The expenses are
It's
not
the
going to
revenue.
change. The only thing that,
We're not, but we already baked in, well, we didn't bake in the 200,000. We couldn't bake in the, what we discussed as maybe getting 250,000, because that's just subjective to what people are gonna do if it's on demand.
But that was what the previous city manager put forward in the proposal, was a guess.
That it was a guess, and I'm, as I said, that's a guess. And
I get that. I just, for us to be making a concrete decision on this right now, whenever we're operating off of a guess from someone who's no longer even employed with the city to provide that information, there's a lot of,
Well, at the
It's
end of
hard
the
to make a
day,
decision.
I wanted Jeremy to present this information to you that you can all look
If-
at it, digest it, talk to people, and then I vote, we just table it. We don't take
Well,
action.
it was,
Not coming back till February to really actually talk about the on-demand or whatever and stuff. So this
that's what we,
this is
yeah,
good information for y'all.
understood. And part of
No,
it,
Then,
Yeah.
but this is it right here. This is the budget. It's
It is.
Yeah.
going to be
for
there.
Jeremy, when you,
Lost revenue, that's the expenses.
potential overtime.
Well, no, she took out the overtime on this. I recall my message earlier.
But I think what I may be understanding from Sylvia is that. Cynthia, sorry.
Okay, I've been calling everybody the wrong.
I almost called Jennifer something else earlier and
Hey.
I'm bad with names today. I apologize, but that is, we are trying to cover a cost that isn't even fully being represented here, potentially is a concern, because the overtime that we're seeing in the cost factors isn't, salaries we're seeing in the cost factors does not, the overtime that is in the budget that should be covered by the revenue related to this program.
Doesn't your budget automatically include overtime? You have a pot of money that's for emergencies and
And so, and another thing too, with the overtime for my solid waste department or whatever, 170, they are actually have some overtime budgeted because they're actually on call for us too.
Yeah.
So they might not be out doing leaf and limb, but they're on call for public works for the week, and stuff. So they might have to go, I don't know, put cones out, put barricades out, do something different that's not even in their scope. So that's what their overtime's for. And like you said, they also help us when we do like paint cleanups and electronics, tires or whatever. Those are my younger or easier guys to get to go work overtime and stuff out there or whatever, less cost or whatever for us so that we use them to do that. So that's what their overtime's in there for too, not specifically for out storms, leaf, limb every day. Does that make sense?
yeah, when we intended to move to leaf and limb, we did put in, on demand, I'm sorry, we did put a number in. And what y'all are reminding me is that number was 250. And we're operating now because we have not implemented on demand. We're operating on a budget assumption of 203,760, which is a pretty hard number. It's 1,698 people paying $10 a month.
It's a 250.
That is correct.
expense. I don't know what you're saying the 250 is.
If we had moved to on demand, the estimated revenue was 250.
No.
By staying in the current program, we're creating a theoretical higher
A little
operating.
less than 50K less, exactly.
Right.
You're right.
Right,
But
yeah, and
another
agreed, we're
50.
seeing that 250 was a guess at the time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I'm thinking that we built a budget based on 250 because we intended to go to on demand. So as we continue not to implement on demand, we're backing ourselves into the situation where we're operating off of 203,760. So we're really creating, in terms of the budget, unless Cynthia, you correct me, we're creating a higher operating loss if we stay on the current $10 program.
But on the on-demand, that's a guess, so it's going to be hard to say.
I know, but the question is,
That's what the
what's
budget-
in the budget?
But okay, I got you. So the budget,
That I'm not trying to make a position.
no, I got you.
I'm not trying to say we should do this or we should do that.
Me neither.
More leaning towards leaf and limb. I think for me and my perspective, we're putting Jeremy in a very difficult position where he's already having to find 120,000 with the help of all the department heads. Now potentially making a decision to leave it at $10 may make us have to find another 50,000 if our revenue projections were 250 before. Whether it was a guess, whether it was actual hard evidence, that's the number we projected, and that's the number we based our budgets off of. So there may actually be a need where we have to go in and find another 50,000 now on top of it.
And that's why I'm saying that we come back in January if these numbers are confirmed, and we may have to raise to $15.
Well, let's think just a moment. We're redoing our solid waste management and everything else to see where that is. I don't think we should make a decision on that until we get the RFPs back and see where our numbers are going to be on our regular trash pickup, because that also has leaf and limb built into it, bundled up, put out at the curb bulk. And then we'll have a better solid number of what people are going to be charged for different things. And then we can make a decision about what we're going to have to do.
I'm just preparing for yes, but that keeps us on the current path of moving towards an additional $50,000 loss. When those RFP comes, the new contract goes in effect March or April.
March.
So maybe we don't create, if there's a solution in those RFPs, then we don't create what looks to be like a $50,000 loss, but it may be a $20,000 or $25,000 loss. I don't want to put us in that hole is what I'm saying. And I think certainly by January, we could have that information.
With you.
I agree. So I just want
On a motion
to
to
have,
table?
yes, please.
Mayor, I move we table discussion and action on leaf and limb until the January council meeting.
Thank you. And Jeremy, thank you for the information. And now we go
Oh,
to,
that's very detailed and I really
Okay.
appreciate that.
Don't we have to second that, or are we just doing it?
then we just tabled it. We're good. Discussion action on 120K department cuts. Take it away, Jeremy.
So right when you asked me that, my computer locked up. So give me 1 second, please. And I went through it. There's not a huge amount. I do want to walk you through kind of, process wise, how we got here. So ultimately, I was approached and asked to come up with 1.75, I believe is 1.75 or 120,000 in savings. I was able to do that without actually individually, going through every department, because what I did was I found out that, and I have a copy of each department's budget actually from the previous discussion that you can actually look at. What I came to find out was that the majority of the budget for each department was personnel, services, some supplies, and then other. And I even went as far as figuring out what other was. And we pulled it up, and it's insurance, and what else did you say it was, Cynthia?
It's insurance and then the bond payments or lease payments, it's principal interest. Or
So I,
special one.
Yeah.
Once a month thing.
so I wanted to make sure that I did look into each line. Luckily for me, a series of events kind of helped us to solve that issue, and some decisions that were uncomfortable, but needed to be made. And so on the first, and I don't know if you have the presentation. Okay, yeah. On that first page there, again, that's just the budget of each individual department. And if you look across, you can see that 1.75% would be equal to those numbers that are in the right column, totaling roughly 123, which, arguably 120. We were able to achieve the goal, and we did meet about this in our department head meetings, and I did speak to each department head and ask them to present any reductions that they felt like they could make that would help us accomplish this goal on an individual departmental basis. But before that could be accomplished, I was able to determine that we had already achieved it. We actually got to $132,000. And we did that with 4 different things. One, which was simply attrition. There was an employee that did resign since his salary was budgeted over a 12-month period, and we're only 3 months into that period. That means 9 months worth of savings from an expenditure standpoint. So $35,000 came from that first line there in code enforcement. In administration, we were able to counsel, and this was the Avenue Insight. By counseling that program, that actually saved us about $9,000. the finance department was able to locate insurance coverage for hail coverage that we have actually not submitted a claim for in 20 years. And as a result of removing just that portion of the coverage, it saved us another 14,000. And then last but not least was the harder decision, which was to essentially terminate a position within the organization. Again, being only 3 months into the budget, that resulted in a savings of roughly about 74,000. And I've confirmed these numbers with finance to make sure that they were correct, which brings us to the 132,000 that you were actually looking for, which is above and beyond the goal. But that would not preclude me from obviously continuing to look, especially given some of the conversations that we've had tonight. But I did want to kind of walk you through that we did accomplish the goal as asked. However, there was very little trimming to do from an individual departmental budget, but I'm still happy we were able to get there.
I don't know how I can ask this question because it has to do with personnel salaries and well, it's extremely relevant to this discussion.
Okay.
I believe that there were raises that were deferred that never ended up happening.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, I was told that that was a problem-seeking opportunity prior to your hiring, that was what was going to happen.
I was not aware of that, but I did go and have a conversation with our attorney to determine the legality of that. And I don't know if you can speak to whether or not that is or is not something that can be done. It's not something that we proposed, but
It's not something that we asked for, but I think it was a specific department offered it to meet their budget requirements.
Do we need to go to executive?
I think we probably did.
You want to go to executive?
Yep. So I'll entertain any other questions if you guys have them.
So it's my understanding, and maybe it's not that clear to me, but you're saying just by virtue of these certain turn of events, the department heads did not have to worry about it anymore. They didn't even have to go back into their budget and try to cut anything, or did each of them present?
Each of them did have a discussion with me individually as to what they could and could not get rid of, what they could do without. And none of those department heads had anything to offer with the exception of mostly personnel. I am still, because it's my responsibility to do it, going to go through it on my own as well. And I have gone through it, but there's lots of information that I'm still sifting through because some of these categories that are overarching have lots of individual things that I need to understand the use of those things. I wouldn't take something from a department without understanding how important it is to that department and what they use it for.
Some of the line items from several of the departments were pretty large, but it wasn't clear what those line items really included. So you're saying you're still going through and trying to determine what is included under those certain
Absolutely.
categories? Okay.
And I mean, yes, I have accomplished the goal that you asked, but no, I am no longer looking at it. I'm still looking at it.
I think you put in our packet what each department had and the cuts that they made. There's a sheet that has all of that on it.
No, that's just a calculation. That's not.
Well, it's maybe the calculation, but I think that's what he brought forth and what they were gonna do.
Well, no, that essentially was, if we were to make or require each individual department to do 1.75, that's the equivalent of what that would equal. And that's not necessarily,
Have an action that
that's not
achieves.
necessarily what was offered.
That's just a simple math equation.
But, some departments are thinner than others. Some have, some have funding from outside sources such as grants. You can't cut grants. You can refuse a grant, I guess, but I don't know if you would ever want to. I think that'd be the only way to cut some of these departments' budgets, like the library, for example, and others. So I think what would be probably a good idea is to some point have perhaps a a study session, even if the council wanted to do that, so that we could do a deep dive and you could see every single line item and, share your thoughts and questions from that perspective.
It'd essentially be like our own in-house mini audit, which we've been talking about for quite a while now.
And we still
It-
have
it-
25,000
yes.
budgeted for efficiency audit
Right,
too, so.
right. Okay.
Mayor, what time are we gonna retire to executive here?
I think this was just an information line, no action taken.
I think he wants to hear more.
Yeah, I've asked these informally and I'd like a formal answer on this.
Mm.
I've asked these questions informally and I'd like a formal answer, and it's not something we do in open session.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying.
He's saying he wants to move to executive.
Yeah, for item 8, the 20K department cuts, it would be consultation with attorney.
Number 7. To be able to talk about staff pay and.
Yeah, that's, well, on here, you cut going in under the 20K department cuts, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, on Jeremy's
Yeah.
list, it's number 8. So under that one, it would be consultation with attorney. Yeah, they did.
Coincidentally, number 8 is executive, so.
Okay, the thing is, you're going into executive session under personnel right afterwards, so you just announced them both?
Personnel then.
Yeah, well, personnel for item 9,
What's he
Yeah.
reading off of?
and consultation with attorney on the 20K department cuts.
All right, the city council will hold an executive session pursuant to Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Government Code, in accordance with authority contained in Section 551-074 to discuss personnel, interim city manager's employment contract, and the cuts to the department and personnel
No, cuts to department under consultation with attorney.
under consultation with the attorney. Okay, and the time is 5:11. All right, we come back together here. The time is 6:40. And discussion and action on the 120K department cuts, no action taken, and discussion on action on executive session, no action taken. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year. Meeting's adjourned.